Moving on now to the meeting between the Indian Prime Minister and the Chinese President, the bilateral talks that took place in Xiamen on the sidelines of the 9th BRICS Summit. The Prime Minister congratulating the Chinese President for successfully holding the BRICS meet, and in turn the Prime Minister being complimented and also being appreciated for his vision for BRICS. Foreign Secretary S. Jaishankar briefed the media post the bilateral meeting, saying that peace at borders is a must for stronger ties between the two nations. Doklam and terror was not taken up or discussed during the bilateral meet. This is the first meeting after the 73-day-long Doklam standoff, which had strained ties between the two nations.
One of the important points which was made during the meeting was that peace and tranquility in the border areas was a prerequisite for the further development of our relationship, and that there should be more effort made to really enhance and strengthen the level of mutual trust between the two sides. There would be, it is natural that between neighbors and large powers that there would be areas of difference. But where there is an area of difference, it should be handled with mutual respect, and efforts should be made to find common ground in addressing those areas. And specifically with regard to defense, that the personnel involved with defense and security must maintain strong contacts and cooperation. And ensure that the sort of situations which happened recently do not recur.
Okay, so according to India's Foreign Secretary, the talks were very positive. They were positive, forward-looking, constructive, with the emphasis being on strengthening relationship, on work being done to enhance trust between both the nations, and also the importance on maintaining strong contacts in the view of various differences coming up, and those differences also being addressed with utmost respect. So all of those issues coming up in this crucial bilateral meeting. These are the visuals of both the leaders shaking their hands, exchanging pleasantries. The mood quite different from what one saw at the G20 summit. Right now we're seeing both the leaders in fact did exchange a few pleasantries with smiles on their faces, and the bilateral meeting also being termed as a successful one. And this coming after the massive diplomatic win for India after the BRICS joint declaration that named Pakistan-based terror groups like Lashkar-e-Taiba and Jaish-e-Mohammed. Geeta Mohan, Foreign Affairs editor, joins us for more on that bilateral meet. So after all the strain and the unease in the last 2 months with regards to Doklam, finally, this bilateral meeting, Geeta, getting off on a positive note, on the right track?
Well, Avantika, really it was not just stock-taking but also forward-looking is what Foreign Secretary Jaishankar said, and rightly so. Not so much because China helped matters, but because India handled the situation deftly and quite maturely so. The war rhetoric that we saw from the Chinese side, the kind of upping the ante when it comes to the border situation that we saw from the Chinese side, was not reciprocated in the manner in which a lot of other countries have done in the past with China. India was rather quiet, very reticent in handling the entire matter, and now what we see is absolute continuous engagement with China is the reason why today both the leaders could sit across the table and discuss matters. While Doklam as an incident did not come up, because Avantika, we had been reporting it earlier also that India and China in the bilateral meeting would not at this leadership level would not be discussing an incident. But the larger issue over here is look at the kind of outcome that this meeting has had. They've talked about peace and maintaining peace and tranquility, that it is a prerequisite for any kind of development in ties between India and China, as also how border personnel and troops should be placed at the border, and the ways in which they should be handling and engaging each other. So this is a not just a positive outcome, but quite forward-looking in terms of how the two countries in the future might handle situations, given that Doklam certainly was one of its kind, an unprecedented manner in which China and India were caught in a standoff at the border.
Geeta, thanks so much for joining us.